And at the same time, I got involved with another woman who had been working in Afghanistan, and she, during the Russian times, had worked for the education ministry, and she was extremely dedicated to educating particularly the Afghan women. And she lives in the US, and she would sell carpets and rugs and other Afghan materials. And then all of the money that she made from that went back into building schools or working in various different communities. And I got a number of the women from Women Against War to wind up working on putting a well in a village called Mir Taki Shah, east of Kabul, and right on one of the routes where the Taliban were. And the way Fahima worked, which was just impressive, is she would go in as a woman, and you might think in Afghanistan this couldn't happen, but she was an Afghan, so she could do it. So she would go in and she would meet with the elders, a woman meeting with the elders, which is not unusual, but not usual either. And she would say, well, what do you need as a community? And Mir Taki Shah, for instance, would say, well, we need a well. We need a deep, wide bore well that we can use to have our crops last longer, to keep our pomegranate trees well. And she said, well, okay, if I do that for you, will you let me build a school? So, of course, there was this give and take. So this is an image of what the area around Mir Taki Shah looked like. This is one of their crops. This is the men making the digging the well and putting the pump in. And these are the children that started out in the school. Now this was in 2010, so we're 11 years later. And the three little canvas pods that she built have been used for literacy for the women and programs for the women and for educating the kids. And there have been, I forget the numbers at this point, but it's probably 1,000 kids that have gone through the school. They started out with like 100, and it grew very rapidly. And there are, it's basically primary grades. And then there are schools that are close by where the girls can walk as a group to the schools and continue education. Fahima's current project that she's working on is building a school in an area where the US dropped the mother of all bombs in 2017. And she was actually approached by the elders in the village to build this school. She has that kind of reputation in Afghanistan. She has started the foundation, but she is continuing to look for funding for building the school. It's approximately about $90,000 in total, and she's got maybe half of the funds at this point. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. But this woman is so dedicated. She goes without for herself so that she can provide for her fellow Afghans. And that again comes back to me, and I think of my own little small life and what am I doing? But it reminds me of what we can do every day for a neighbor down the street that during COVID in particular maybe can't get to the grocery store or hasn't gotten their vaccine appointment yet because they don't know how to use the internet. There are so many things that we can do to help each other, and it starts at home. It starts with our husbands, our wives, our kids, our next door neighbors. And if Tom and Libby haven't taught me anything more than that, that is what I've gained from that. And I feel like I'm a better person for it.